Today we have a 2020 Democratic primary prediction between Secretary Hillary Clinton versus Senator Bernie Sanders. So Hillary Clinton will be represented by the Republican red and Bernie Sanders represented by the Democratic blue, but both will be in the Democratic primary map. And I know the Democratic primary is not decided by the Electoral College, for those of you who commented that last video. But I just wanted to see how a rematch would do, and I don't have any other tool to use. And the Electoral College will give a mild, accurate representation of what population distribution across the United States and what the type of delegate count would be for each particular state for the Democratic Party. So obviously states like New York will outweigh states like Maryland, or California will outweigh a state like Florida. It's represented by the electoral map and in the Democratic primary. Yes, some states are not as equal as others in the Democratic primary, but there's no other way to convey a primary map other than using this method. So until I find a way, I apologize for this, but as of right now, it's the only thing I can use. So this is a rematch. This is the rematch that was always meant to be completely honest with you. It would be pretty interesting. I really do not think that Bernie Sanders would be perceived as such a horrible candidate this time around by the Clinton side of the Democratic Party. But again, the superdelegates are probably going to stick with Hillary Clinton, so he's going to need to win an outright majority. And not outright majority, my bad. The outright number of pledged delegates count. And he also will need to beat Hillary Clinton, which he didn't do last time. So that's probably just restating the points a second time. But yeah, so looking at the map, we're going to do this not off any margins or any shaded regions. We're just going to do this based off who I believe would win each state. And obviously this is not my opinion. I'm saying I believe because I'm using information and data, and then I'm turning it into a video, but it looks like it's coming from me, so a little too hard to explain. We're just going to get right into it. So first of all, the Clinton stronghold is in the South, and I really do not see Bernie Sanders grasping on that stronghold for a while. I do not see any progressive type candidates winning in the South because, again, these are conservative Democrats. These are moderate Democrats. These are not the northern style Vermont type progressive Democrats. You may see them in California. You may see them in Washington. You're not going to see them in the South, or if you do, you're going to see a very slim minority, my bad, and it's not going to be a lot. Hillary Clinton demolished Bernie Sanders in the South, and she would do so again. So the entire Old South I'm going to leave in Hillary Clinton's column. States like Florida, actually North Carolina got a little bit closer than some other states, but Virginia will still likely be in the Clinton column. But now that puts her at 107 electoral votes. Yes, the electoral vote doesn't matter, but it's just a number to go by. Over in the Midwest, Bernie Sanders would do phenomenal. He would easily carry a number of these states. We're going to come back to the state of South Dakota because that one's a little bit different than the rest of them. But almost all these states that he won in the in the Midwest and around the West Coast back in 2016, he would likely carry again. And if we're looking at the map, he would probably actually carry the state of South Dakota. I know Clinton definitely did have a minor stronghold here in that little part of the Midwest that was in her column, but I see Bernie Sanders narrowly carrying it. I also think with the hype on his side, he could carry Iowa, New Hampshire. Clearly, he's going to carry Vermont. I believe he would carry Maine. Rhode Island will also be in his column after going to him in 2016, and that puts him in the standing. So he has a definite chance against Hillary Clinton, but he's going to need to win a number of the states that he carried back in 2016. So the Rust Belt, I see going for Bernie Sanders. I see him sweeping that major part of the Rust Belt, but I don't see him carrying the state of Pennsylvania, nor do I see him carrying the state of Maryland, or Delaware, or New Jersey. These are states that were solidly in the Clinton column, and I know my state best. I know Maryland would never go to someone like Bernie Sanders. Over in Delaware, it's not too much of a reach for Bernie Sanders, and he's probably not going to carry that one either. And New Jersey is just such a Clinton-type Democratic state that even if she did run again, which she is in the scenario, she would probably win it. Looking at the map, clearly he's going to carry West Virginia as he did back in 2016. He would carry Indiana. Kentucky and Missouri were pretty close. I see Bernie Sanders carrying those states narrowly. But looking at the map, I think Hillary Clinton would carry the state of Nevada. That is a state that I believe would be in her column along with New Mexico. And yes, Arizona does have a growing progressive population, but again, Hillary Clinton would probably narrowly edge out the state of Arizona. Her home state of Illinois was pretty close, but I think she would narrowly edge that one out as well. Massachusetts, I see going to Bernie Sanders. I think his grasp on the northern type Democratic vote is definitely going to help him, along with the state of Connecticut. The District of Columbia, however, I see going in the Clinton column just based off how much of the Clintonite area it's been. I mean, this is Clinton territory around Washington, D.C., around Maryland, around pretty much the DMV. Over in California, that one I see narrowly going to Bernie Sanders. I think he could carry California, unlike he did back in 2016, only because Hillary Clinton's name would be worn out and he would seem as a much better candidate compared to her after she already lost an election. But looking at the map, Bernie Sanders is currently in the lead. So he'd probably also carry the state of Ohio. He does very well when appealing to the white working class, and Hillary Clinton, lost a number of these voters by the time the primary was over to the general election, which is why she didn't have as good of a standing as she would have if the election was held the same day as the Ohio primary. So Bernie Sanders carries the state of Ohio. Over in New York, that one could get a little close. We'll come back to that one. North Carolina, I still think would go to Hillary Clinton. She does have a good possibility of carrying that state. New York. That one is going to be very contested. In fact, I'm going to give that one narrowly to Bernie Sanders, only because I think he would definitely target it a lot more, and he would actually acknowledge the presence there. Yes, they do love Hillary Clinton, but I also believe that the center area, if they get out and vote in the nearing the city, around the urban areas, would come out and vote for Bernie Sanders. And also upstate New York, that would also help him boost his numbers. But the final state I'm going to call is the state of Texas, and that one goes to Hillary Clinton. I really don't see her losing the state of Texas, just based off how partisan it's gotten, in how much infighting has been in the Democratic Party. We saw it in the Democratic general primary recently in the 2018 primaries, and we're likely seeing it now. And we'll see it in this election. But a number of these states definitely could go either way. States like Illinois or Nevada or Arizona or New Mexico could go either way. But I still believe Hillary Clinton would narrowly edge out those states in the end. And Bernie Sanders would probably, this convention would be extremely contested. So I can't really make a prediction as to who would win the superdelegates. Clearly, Clinton would take ahead with a number of them, but some of them may actually be smart and go with the winning candidate this time. So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.